Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. So again, welcome to our subject. And for today, we are about to discuss the property, plant, and equipment, the recognition. Okay, so this is your instructor, Noel Bergonia. So just sit back, relax, take down notes, and if you have questions, please let me know lang po. Okay, so previously we have discussed the initial recognition of property, plant, and equipment, wherein we need to recognize it at costs. And then subsequently, you need to recognize it at um, the model no being used by the company. It's either the cost model or even the revaluation model. So for today, we will be talking about the recognition and what would be the accounting treatment for the derecognition of property, plant, and equipment in accordance with IAS number 16. Okay, so when we talk about the recognition, okay, it means that we are going already to eliminate that element of financial statement, okay, in our statement of financial position. So we will be recognizing the PPE or taking it out of our accounting records. So when we talk about the recognition, okay, the carrying amount of this property, plant, and equipment can be derecognized either okay on disposal. Okay, so if we are going to dispose that PPE, or even if this PPE are not having any future economic benefits already that we will be expecting in continuous use or even via disposal. Okay, so we have various modes of the recognition which we will be discussing on the succeeding slides. Okay, so at the time of the derecognition, aside from we are already eliminating the elements about this property, plant, and equipment, a gain or loss could be recognized. Okay, so this gain or loss would come from the difference between the net disposal proceeds, if there would be a disposal proceeds, no, and the carrying amount of our item. Okay, so dun po manggagaling yung gain or loss. So is there a possibility na zero po yung gain or loss? Yes, if there is no difference between the disposal cost or the disposal proceeds at saka yung ating carrying amount. Okay? So when we talk about this derecognition, as mentioned to you a while ago, no, we have various modes such as either by a sale. Okay, so we dispose this PPE by selling it to another entity. Okay, or even exchange it with other non-monetary assets. Okay, so we have discussed this already, exchange of non-monetary assets in one of our video lectures. So later we will not be discussing this anymore. Okay, and then we have also the involuntary conversion. So we will be discussing that more later. And lastly, if kagaya mo, in abandon. Charot. Okay, so we have abandonment. Okay, so in this mode of the recognition, aside from the gain na minention natin kanina or loss that would arise from the derecognition, take note that if these properties are not yet fully depreciated, meaning the depreciation is not yet finished or the useful life is not yet finished, and then we tend to derecognize it already, ang sabi po, no, a depreciation must be taken up to the time of the date of the recognition. Okay, so mamaya in our example, kasi makikita ninyo na baka mamaya yung depreciation ninyo is up to December 31 lang nung previous year natin, let's say 2020. Okay, but you have disposed it, let's say for example, March 31, okay, 2021. So you need to update the balance first, 'di ba? Kailangan kasi natin yung carrying value. So you need to still depreciate up to March 31. Okay? So I hope that that is clear that we need to depreciate that PPE if this is depreciable ha, kasi may mga PPE tayo na nabanggit that they are not depreciable. Okay? Depreciate them until the time of the derecognition. Okay? So to discuss further the modes of the recognition and the relative journal entries related to them, so let's start with the first mode of the recognition, which is the sale of properties or plant and equipment. Okay? So pag sinabi po nating sale, of course, the consideration in exchange for it would be a cash or even a receivables, no, if ever that this is not yet paid. Okay? That on the day that we are going to dispose it, okay, so the seller will recognize a gain or loss mentioned to you kanina, which is the difference between the consideration received. Okay, it's either a cash or not yet cash, okay, such as receivable, and the book value or the carrying value of the asset sold. Okay, so again, the selling price, which is the consideration received po natin, less any carrying value at the date of disposal. Remember, we need to update the depreciation if ever that um, these assets are not yet fully depreciated, because the carrying amount or carrying value or the book value relies on the cost of the PPE less its accumulated depreciation up to the time of disposal. And then of course, pag mas malaki po yung selling price kaysa sa carrying value, then we will have a gain. Okay? While if the selling price is less than the carrying value, then we will have to recognize a loss. Okay? To explain this further, okay, so let's have the various examples. Okay, so let's have example number 1, wherein we are asked to prepare the journal entry, no, to record the sale. So let me read the problem. As of December 31, 2020, the equipment of Pork Chop Incorporated, originally purchased on January 1, 2016, has a cost of 100,000. So that's an original cost. And then the accumulated depreciation as of December 31, 2020 was 60,000. So we have an up-to-date balance, no, of that accumulated depreciation up as of December 31, 2020. Okay, so it is the company's policy to depreciate these assets using the straight line method. Now, on January 1, 2021, the company sold it at 55,000. So since the time of disposal and the last depreciation is almost 1 day lang po yung difference, no need for us to depreciate it for 1 day. Okay, so as if it is still the accumulated depreciation. So for our entry, no, first we determine the gain. So the difference of the gain, so the gain is recognized as the difference of our selling price, which is 55,000, and the carrying value, okay, as of the date of disposal, which is January 1, 2021. So it is the cost of 100,000 less our accumulated depreciation of 60,000. So our um, carrying value was 40,000. So mas mataas po yung selling price compared with the carrying value. Thus, we will have a gain on sale, which is 15,000. Okay, so for the entry on the date of disposal, tanggalin na po natin yung accumulated, tanggalin na rin yung equipment, kasi we will be derecognizing them or eliminating them from our accounting records. So to do that, we will be debiting the cash that we have received, no, in exchange of the equipment amounting to 55,000. Then to derecognize the accumulated depreciation, we will be debiting the 60,000. And then we credit equipment to derecognize it at 100,000, and the computed gain on sale or gain on disposal will be credited amounting to 15,000. Okay? So that's our first example. Now we have an up-to-date na depreciation up to the date of disposal. Okay, so again, if you have questions, please let me know lang po on our respective chat boxes. Okay, so let's have a second example. Okay, so again, we need to prepare the journal entry. Now, as of December 31, 2020, the equipment of Minudo Incorporated, originally purchased on January 1, 2016, has a cost of 100,000 and accumulated depreciation of 60,000. It is the company's policy not to depreciate the assets under the straight line method. Okay? So on May 1, 2021, so it's not January 1. Kanina kasi in the previous example, we have January 1. Okay, but this time we have May 1. The company sold it at 55,000. Okay, so what's our first step? You are correct, no? We need to first update our what? Carrying value. Okay, so let me present to you the computation of the gain on sale. Okay, but before that, we need to update the value. Okay, so if you will check, no, our carrying value or the costs was actually 100,000. Then the previous accumulated depreciation was 60,000. So we need to derive that. Okay, so how can we compute for our um, depreciation? Okay, so our depreciation is equal to, okay, for an annual depreciation, we need to derive it kasi hindi given yung useful life, di ba? But we can derive it. Actually, yung accumulated depreciation na yon, that was accumulated from the time of purchase, which is 2016 January 1 up to December 31, 2020. So ilang taon kaya yon? 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay? So sa nakalipas na 5 years, we have accumulated 60,000. So we try to divide that 60,000 over the 5 years na nakalipas. Then we will be expecting that annually, okay? So every year, we will have a depreciation of 12,000. Yun po yung nangyari. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng accumulated depreciation on December 31, 2020 worth 60,000. Okay? So that's good for 1 year. But what we are looking for is only the amount of depreciation as of May 31, 2021. Okay, so that's actually 5 months. Okay, so we multiplied 5 over 12 just to derive no the particular na depreciation up to the time of disposal, which is May 31, 2021. Okay, so we get 5,000. So meaning from January 1, 2021 up to the date of disposal na May 31, 2021, okay, so we will have our depreciation expense worth 5,000. Okay, so to get the accumulated depreciation po, no, at that time, okay, so we add the 60,000 as of December 31, 2020 and also the 5,000 up to date ng May 31. Okay, so which is amounting to 65,000. Kaya yung sa carrying value computation po natin, our 100,000 na costs minus the 65,000 na carrying na accumulated depreciation as of May 31, okay, 2021. Okay, so that would be amounting to 35,000 na lang po yung carrying value po natin. Okay, so May 31 yun guys ha. Okay, so ayun, 35,000 is the carrying value and mas mababa na naman ulit siya with the selling price and thus our gain on sale was 20,000. Okay, so our gain on sale was 20,000 and to record po our date of sale on May 31, 2021. So the entry would be debit cash, the amount that we have received no, na 55,000. Then we debit the previously recorded non-accumulated depreciation, 60,000. And then since hindi po ako nag-record separately ng depreciation expense and we need to update, kaya nag-debit na lang po ako dito ng depreciation expense, 5,000. Okay, so if you don't want to have the depreciation expense here, pwede po kayong mag-entry no, ng separate debit depreciation expense, credit accumulated depreciation, 5,000. But technically, no, pag ganito yung nangyari, yung debit mo na sa accumulated depreciation is not 60,000 but already 65,000. But still, same lang po yung mga values naman, no, aside from those two. Kasi pwede naman nating i-aggregate. Okay? Then continuing po, we will be derecognizing the equipment. So we credit equipment worth 100,000. Okay, and then finally we will be crediting the gain on sale, okay, which is amounting to 20,000. Okay, so that's our entry to record the disposal on May 31, okay, 2021. Again, if you do have questions, please let me know lang po on our respective chat boxes. Okay, so that's the first mode of disposal, okay, which is the sale of the PPE. So, yung exchange po, yung pangalawa kanina, no, we will not be discussing it anymore since we have already a separate video lecture about the exchange of the PPEs to another non-cash properties. Okay, yun po yung may fair value of the asset given up and the fair value of the asset received if you have already forgotten it. Okay, so right now after the sale, no, and excluding the exchange already, next would be abandonment. Or sorry, hindi pala abandonment. It would be the involuntary conversion. Okay, so let me discuss first what is an involuntary conversion. So when we talk about involuntary conversion, it occurs when your property was being destroyed o kaya naman nanakaw or it was condemned or disposed under a threat of condemnation and you receive another property or even a money in payment of such from insurance or any condemnation award. So pwede po na yung property mo was actually insured. Okay? And kapag halimbawa yung iyong equipment okay nasira o kaya naman nasunog, 'di ba? And there is an insurance that covers it, then they will pay, okay, up to certain extent, depending upon as well the contract that you have in the insurance. Okay, so any difference between the amount that you have received, okay, or the property, whatever it is that you are about to receive, no, compare it with the carrying value at the time of the um, involuntary conversion, then that would be the gain or loss to be recognized. Okay, so yung pinagkaiba lang kanina in the time of sale ng mga previous slide natin, it means that you are expecting to dispose that via selling it to another property. Ito po, you have experience na nasira or even nanakaw or baka based on fortuitous events, yung nangyari doon sa inyong property, plant, and equipment. Okay, so um, to explain this in our example, let's have steak company, okay, which has a delivery truck, okay, having an original costs of um, 250,000. This truck is insured in Pork Insurance Company. However, tragically, on February 1, 2021, when its carrying value was 150,000, so updated na po yan since yun yung sinabi, okay, it was totaled in an accident. So pag sinabi pong totaled na nasira na, destroyed in an accident. Now, after evaluation, the insurance company paid stake company, okay, our company ng delivery truck, worth 155,000. Okay, sir, is that possible na mas mataas po yung ma-receive natin? Yes, depending upon the insurance coverage po natin. It could also be lower, no? So, ano daw po yung entry to record this transaction? So, as mentioned to you a while ago, the amount that we are about to receive, compare it with the carrying value. So, that's the gain or loss. So, dito, ang carrying value po natin was the 150,000, but the amount we are expecting to receive was 155,000. So, mas mataas. Then later in our entry, we would be recognizing a gain. Okay? Pag mas mababa sana yung proceeds ng insurance, then it would be a loss. Okay? So, to record it, so debit po tayo ng cash, 155,000. Then we debit and recognize the accumulated depreciation of 100,000. Ngayon, saan nanggaling accumulated depreciation? That is the difference ng original cost na 250,000 and the carrying value on February 1 na 150,000. Okay? So, in-interpolate lang natin. Okay? And then we credit the delivery truck kasi recognize na natin 250,000 and we credit gain on disposal na 5,000. Okay? Gain on disposal or gain on proceeds of insurance 5,000. Okay? It's simply a gain. Okay? So are we clear on that? Sir, paano yan kung totaling nasira? Eh di wala, no? We will not receive anything and then we will just be zeroing it out. Okay? So isi-zero natin. So lahat ng carrying value na yon ay magiging loss ng company. Okay? Pag walang insurance coverage. So anong entry? Here's the possible entry. Debit loss, no? 150,000. And then we debit the accumulated depreciation, 100,000. And then we credit the delivery truck. Okay, 250,000. Again, ito ay pag hindi na-cover ng insurance o kaya naman po walang insurance na with regards to this delivery truck. Okay, so lahat ng amount ng carrying value will be chargeable to loss. Okay, so again, if you do have questions, please let me know po. Okay, so that's our involuntary conversion. Okay, and finally, for our mode of disposal, we have also abandonment. Masakit, di ba, na ma-abandon? Charot lang. Okay, so sometimes property, plant, and equipment are being abandoned. Okay, why? Because it's either wala nang gamit, no? It does not have any use, or when it is already fully utilized. Okay? So gamit na or hindi na magagamit, no, yung property, kaya we tend to abandon it. Sir, bakit hindi na lang ibenta? Baka kasi walang gustong tumanggap. 'Di ba? Walang gustong bumili. Kaya ina-abandon na lang natin. So it would be disposed or tatapon na lang natin. Okay? So if the assets were being abandoned, okay, during a particular period, remember, no, that the carrying value at the time of abandonment, parang kanina, no, sa involuntary conversion, pag nasira, walang sumalo, edi charge agad sa loss, no, lahat. Ganun din dito, no. Since you are abandoning it without disposing it, no, you can have this all of the carrying values, no, to be charged at a loss. Okay, kawalan mo na 'yon, lalo na kung hindi pa siya fully depreciated. Okay, at wala na siyang gamit sa'yo. O kaya naman baka nasira, instead of repairing it, 'no, mas mahal pa yung pa-repair kaysa bumili ng bago, eh di itapon mo na lang or, um, again, 'no, you abandon it. Okay? So let us give an example. So on February 1, 2021, Burger Incorporated decided to abandon its factory equipment with zero carrying value on its accounting record. Ito maganda, zero na po yung accounting value niya, okay, and thus later there would be no gain or loss, no? The original cost of this equipment purchased 8 years ago was 150,000. So since it is already zero carrying value or wala na naman talaga siyang um, carrying value or book value, okay, and you just want to dispose it, then zero mo lang siya. Okay, so the entry would be debit lang po tayo ng accumulated depreciation 150,000 and credit the factory equipment 150,000. Sir, paano naging zero yan? Yes, kasi 150 yung cost, then 150 rin yung accumulated depreciation, kaya zero po yung carrying value, di ba? So ayan, no. Yan maganda yan kasi wala na talaga or it has no value already at nagamit mo ng lahat ng value ng property, then okay lang, no, na i-dispose mo na. Pagpahingahin mo na rin siya. Baka pagod na siya. Char. Okay, so that's for example number 4 if we have a zero carrying value. And lastly, what if? Okay, so example 5 na po tayo and we are as of the record entry to record the transaction. Okay, so on January 1, 2021, Shanghai Incorporated decided to abandon its faulty. Yun naman pala, no? Kaya ina-abandon kasi may mga pagkakamali. Charot, no? Or even sira na or sira-sira na factory equipment worth 20,000. Okay, may value pa siya, 20,000 nga lang, pero faulty na yung equipment na yon. Okay, the cost was originally 150,000 8 years ago. Okay, so since we are abandoning a zero or 20,000 pala na value na PPE, then there would be a loss. Okay, so that would be a debiting the accumulated depreciation of 130,000. Bakit po 130,000? Kasi 'di ba we have a carrying value of 20,000, so that would be 150 less 20,000. Okay, so 130,000 yung relative accumulated depreciation, and the carrying value at the time of abandonment will be debited to loss. Okay, so yan po yung sinasabi ko kanina. And then credit po tayo ng factory equipment, 150,000. Okay, so that's our entry. And last example for our derecognition. Okay, so if it would be reclassified as non-current assets held for sale in the future, then we will be discussing that in our intermediate accounting too. Okay, so a transfer of PPE to a non-current assets held for sale. So we try to focus it first here in this 4 modes. Okay, actually 3 modes lang kasi na-discuss na dati yung exchange, no? So the sale for cash, okay, or any non-cash properties, okay, or even we have an involuntary conversion, or we have an abandonment. Okay? So with that, again, if you have questions, no, you're feel free to ask. Okay? So for any other questions, no, about this topic, no, you may refer to IS number 16, okay, about the derecognition concept. Okay? So thank you very much for listening. Have a great day. Kamsahamnida. God bless. Sayonara.